I'm trying to decide how I like my hair better. I'm just gonna get over it. It's fine. Um, mm, it's fine. I wonder if I need that light on so you guys don't have to see it in my glasses. I'm also not gonna talk loud. My son is in the next room getting ready for bed. Or he's in bed. I don't like that. That's a little better. Yeah, so we were just doing the whole bedtime routine thing. Um, and then I thought I'd come. So I, um, you know, I've already washed my face and everything. Um, like the wind down time. And in my wind down time, I was going to read from the Pilgrimage. Is that what it's called? No, Pilgrim. Yeah. I won't always read from this, but sharing my time with you, this is what I would be doing right now. So, be laying in bed reading this. This day two. Mm. So I'm going to pray to myself. How have your last few hours been? I'm sorry, before I just jump into it. Have they been good? I hope so. Excuse me. Um, yeah, I hope they've been good. I have a whole routine that I do, and this is a lip mask. I have two different brands that I use because I go through them. This is a different brand that I normally use. So yeah. Anywho, I was gonna pray to myself. I thought I'd also come do this because I had to like put myself in, like I had to check myself because I was really wanting to force something to happen. Or no, that's not it. I would really like to do something. And then I got discouraged. And that made me sad. Um, yeah. So I thought I'd come here because I tend to focus well. This is the space God's given me. So my hair is very fuzzy. It wasn't clipped back. Like I take out the clip obviously when I go to sleep. But um anyhow. So you could either sit with me as I read this quietly, but I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'll read it here. Okay. Grace for every step of the journey. Imagine yourself on a steep, narrow mountain trail with precarious cliffs and drop offs along the way. Sorry, along the path. The trail is rocky and difficult to navigate. At times, loose rock and dirt crumble along the edge and roll downward, and you suddenly realize just how far the chasm is below. Gusts of wind come along and you reach for something secure, a branch, a tree trunk, more solid ground. You ask yourself, will I make it? But what if there was a sturdy rope securely fastened along every point of this trail from beginning to end? What if the course was mapped out at the start? And regardless of difficulty, the secure and steady rope guided the course all the way to your destination. This tether of rescue is the grace of God. I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget why God's grace is all that amazing. I forget it's the lifeline that holds me fast to my eternal welcome with my Heavenly Father. How quickly I forget when I hide my sin and attempt to clean up my life before drawing near to the Lord. When I try to prove I'm worthy of God's love by doing and serving more. When I'm fearful and try to control my life circumstances for my own good. When I don't rest, believing my trying a little harder will somehow fix my life. These attempts to save myself are but a frantic weaving of a rope with straw and weeds when God offers a lifeline so strong and securely tethered to Himself that we need nothing but to walk with Him. The grace of God. God's grace is the expression of His goodness toward those who deserve punishment. He freely extends His favor to people by offering them salvation from their sins. This grace is generously bestowed on the undeserving and cannot be earned. God's grace is also endless. The gift of salvation is eternal and cannot be lost, which means our future arrival in heaven is guaranteed. The Apostle Paul never minced words. He always told it like it was, and so I appreciate that about him. He chose his words carefully, and because all scripture is inspired by God, we can also trust that those words were carefully chosen by him. So when Paul said in Ephesians 2 8 through 9, by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. He was making this point to the believers reading his letter. God did not rescue you on account of your good deeds. Do you know what that means, friend? It means that you can never be holy enough, strong enough, religious enough, or self disciplined enough to not need the grace of God. We can stop trying to clean up or fix our lives first before surrendering to Jesus. The stream of grace and righteousness is deeper and broader than the stream of guilt. Ooh, Matthew Henry. That's yeah, there. I already showed this, I think. I just think it's pretty. Like, it's pretty. Perhaps the idea of trying harder and the false promises that lead to striving have left you weary and exhausted. Trying harder through personal achievement and religious effort was the continual ball and chain of the ancient world before the cross of Christ. In many ways, it still is today. What was so amazing about the coming of Christ? Why would the Messiah mean freedom to an enslaved people? The Jews expected a deliverer who would right every wrong and free them from political tyranny. But God's plan was to offer so much more. God's plan was to send a deliverer who would right every wrong for eternity and free all who believe so that they no longer remain under the tyranny of sin and death. Christ did not come to worthy, loyal, faith focused people. They were not deserving. In fact, Jesus came in the midst of self righteous religiosity. He came to a world that, for the most part, didn't even want what he was offering. But God sent Christ to reconcile us to himself when we lacked the ability to truly reconcile with one another. God sent Jesus, the only one who was undeserving of God's justice towards sin, to bear what we couldn't. For our sake, he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. 2 Corinthians 5:21. Christ bore the punishment we deserve so that he could accomplish what we couldn't. Righteousness and favor with God. That's what makes God's grace so amazing, and we will miss it if we still think we can save ourselves. Listen, friend, that feeling that you're not enough, that sense that you may not have what it takes, it's a good place to start if it leads you to discover all that God desires to produce in you through grace. Lack and inability describe our condition apart from Christ. Abundance and equipped are the marks of a life tethered to the grace of God. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found, was blind, but now I see. When these words become more familiar, when these words become more familiar than familiar, ay Dios mío, when these words become more than familiar Sunday morning lyrics and instead become our declaration of God's rescue in a lost life apart from Him, we finally begin to discover that we were never meant to journey alone. God's desire has been to walk with us ever since the garden. Because of God's grace, we have access to sure footing, access to nearness, access to full confidence that we do not walk this journey alone. The tether of God's grace, which reaches into eternity past when God knew you before the foundation of the world and extends all the way to eternity for into eternity future, when you will dwell with God in heaven, runs all along that trail from start to finish. God's gift of grace, the eternal welcome, secured for us through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, replaces our attempts to hold on with a strong grip with God's ability to hold us with His steady hand. No wonder Carl Trueman said it this way: it is because we are saved by grace that grace then works in our lives to accomplish God's purposes for us. The Christian life originates in God's grace and is lived by God's grace. God's grace not only saves us from destruction, it saves us for redemptive purposes. Grace doesn't transfer us from lost to found. It ensures that we never lose our way or eternal footing again. Friend, there is not one moment of your life that is not held fast by the strong and mighty assurance of God's grace. No matter how bumpy, how treacherous, or how unknown, you will ascend from the valleys to the peaks, not according to your own ability or strength, because the rope of God's grace holds and guides you every step of the way to His presence. God's grace holds and guides us every step of the way to His presence. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope is secures. He will my shield and portion as long as life endures. Isn't that pretty? Mm, this is pretty. What wondrous love is this, O my soul, Christ laid aside His crown for my soul. How pretty that is. That's all I'm going to keep saying as I read this. It's really pretty. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Look at it. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that cool? I think that's so cool. I love art. She's very beautiful. And I like the flowers. Oh my gosh. I love this book. I'm so thankful my son got it for me. She's so pretty. And look at it. Look. Isn't it? I love it. Hmm. Hmm. Let gratitude be awakened. Let humility be deepened. Let love be quickened. Isn't that pretty? That's all I repeat. Isn't that pretty? Anywho, I could look at it. I just love it. I love watercolor a lot. I don't know. That's something that I've never. I'm really good with oils, oddly. Um, it's been a long time since I've painted with oils. But even when I was a kid, I remember using oils in art class, and I liked it a lot. I loved it a lot. Hold on. 1 second. apparently I could be heard. I was talking too loud. He told me not to worry because he's singing. Anyway, he's on. Well, I've talked about this. He only sleeps in shorts. You know, privacy. Anyway, I turned off the K. Yeah. Um. Well, so I don't disturb him some more. 'Cause I knew it, because he's got my hearing. Yeah. um. Anyway, I hope that was encouraging for you. Again, it spoke to my situation, but I trust God. Hmm. I think it's so easy to think of the lack of things, but God, mm, I'm not sad. By the way, He's got me. Just have to be patient and not force things. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'm just gonna bring you closer so that way I'm not. Oh my gosh. How do I'm gonna bring you closer so that way I'm not talking loud. Um, but anyway, sleepy. But I'll go lay down in bed. mm, Hopefully, in an hour, I'll probably get sleepy. Anyway, thank you for your time and attention. I really, 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 really appreciate it. Have a good day, night, evening, morning, whatever it may be for you. Oh, tomorrow might vary. Oh, not might. Tomorrow, me to come live. It might be a different time than normal because I have an appointment. So I'll schedule it that way, you know. All right. Well, thank you for your time and attention. Love you. Bye.